Welcome. In the last session, I started discussing the general characters of gymnosperms. So we'll continue discussing those characters of gymnosperms in this session, right? So let's see. In the last session, I mentioned that the gymnosperms have well adapted leaves that can withstand extreme temperatures, humidity, and wind. Now, in conifers, in conifers, okay, so they have needle like leaves. So they have needle like leaves, and these needle like leaves will reduce surface area. So they reduce surface area. The needle like leaves will reduce the surface area. What actually is this surface area? So if you see a leaf in case of angiosperm, you can see this is the leaf lamina. So this is leaf lamina, and you can see in this case there is a lot of surface area. But when coming to a conifer leaf, you can see it is needle like, and you can see it has very much reduced surface area, right? So this reduced surface area, okay, will help in preventing water loss. So it prevents water loss, means it conserves water, right? So that's the needle like leaves, which help in reducing the surface area and preventing water loss. Then they also have thick cuticles. They also have thick cuticles. Okay, so here cuticle is a waxy layer present on upper and lower surfaces of leaf. So it's a waxy layer present on upper and lower surfaces of leaf. It means it covers the upper and lower surfaces of leaf. So if you see here, okay, so this is an upper surface of leaf and this is lower surface of leaf, okay, and you will see covering the upper surface we find cuticle, and also covering the lower surface we'll find cuticle. Okay, so in these, okay, conifers also we will find this cuticle covering, okay, all over the leaf, and this cuticle will be thick. Okay, so the thicker the cuticle, the lesser is the water loss. So thin cuticle will make it to lose water. Okay, and if the cuticle becomes thick, then the water loss is prevented. Okay, so this is, you can see here, this is a thick cuticle, right? And this thick cuticle reduce water loss. The thick cuticle reduce water loss. Okay, so needle like leaves will reduce water loss, and also thick cuticle will reduce water loss. Then they also have sunken stomata. They also have sunken stomata, right? So these sunken stomata are present in, okay, small cup like depressions. So they are seen like this on the leaf. Okay, so, and here we will find those structures. I'm not going to discuss about the structure of stomata and all, so because later in sessions we will discuss about the structure of stomata. So actually these stomata will help in, okay, transpiration, then exchange of gases, okay, like oxygen and carbon dioxide, okay, into the leaf or out, okay, to the out of the leaf. So that is actually the function, so help in transpiration and exchange of gases, okay, so like carbon dioxide and oxygen. Now transpiration, what we mean by transpiration, so transpiration is, okay, loss of water in the form of water vapor. So loss of water in the form of water vapor is called transpiration, right? So here, these stomata, as I told, they are responsible for transpiration, means they will help in water loss. So if they are present here on the, okay, epidermis like this, then there will be more water loss. So hence, to prevent this, they are situated in a cup like structures here, okay, right, and this will actually help in reducing water loss. So those stomata which are present in cup like structures, okay, are called sunken stomata, okay, so present, so sunken means present in a depression, okay. So this is the sunken stomata, how we see in case of, so here you can see the cuticle, okay, so this is the cuticle, and okay, so these are sunken stomata or sunken stomata, right? So all these, that is sunken stomata, the thick cuticle, and also needle-like leaves will reduce water loss. Then coming to the reproduction part in gymnosperms. So let's see how they reproduce. So coming to the reproduction. So here gymnosperms are heterosporous. So gymnosperms are heterosporous. So we already know what we mean by heterosporous. They will produce two kinds of spores. So heterosporous, which means they produce, okay, produce two kinds of spores. So they're going to produce two kinds of spores, and those two kinds of spores, one called the microspores and another one called the megaspores. Okay, so these are the two kinds of spores, and these two kinds of spores are produced in sporangia. So already we know when we discussed the pteridophytes, okay, it is the sporangia, the structures inside which the spore formation takes place, and these sporangia are present on sporophylls, okay. So sporangia are located on sporophylls. So they are located on sporophylls, okay, and these sporophylls are, okay, spirally arranged along an axis to form lax or compact strobili, okay. So right, so already we have seen the trend being started from the pteridophytes, okay. So here the sporophylls are arranged along an, okay, so are arranged spirally along an axis, okay, and this results in formation of lax or compact strobili, help in the formation of lax or compact strobili. Next, the strobili having microsporophylls, so having microsporophylls, okay, and microsporophylls, Megasporangia. Okay, so here we see a microsporophyll. Okay, so a microsporophyll, and this microsporophyll have a microsporangia. Actually, you will see the cone in the same way how we have seen. Okay, so this is how we will be seeing, right? And so this is the microsporophyll, is microsporophyll. Okay, and this microsporophyll has microsporangium, is called micro, okay, sporangium. So there is microsporangium. Okay, and you can see here, so you will find, okay, so structures like this. So this is how you will be seeing, right, a cone. Okay, right, so this is how you will see the cone, and here these are microsporophylls and microsporangia, and the one cone, that is the strobilus, that has microsporophyll or microsporangium, is called a male cone, also called microsporangiate. It is called microsporangiate. So male cone or male strobilus, or okay, microsporangiate. So you can also call it male strobilus. Okay, strobili is a plural word, strobilus is a singular. Okay, so here I have shown only one, so I mentioned strobilus. So male cone microsporangiate, so also called any, so any of these names, okay, we refer this cone that have microsporangium on microsporophylls. Okay, so that is what strobili having microsporophylls and microsporophylls and microsporangia, so are called male strobili or microsporangiate or microsporangiate. Next, coming to the female part, so strobili having megasporophylls, and megasporangia, megasporophylls and megasporangia. So here strobili having megasporophylls and megasporangia. So these megasporangia are actually ovules. Okay, so that's ovule is nothing but megasporangium, is megasporangium. So those strobili having, okay, megasporophylls and megasporangia, so they are called female cones or female strobili or the megasporangiate, called megasporangiate. Okay, so we have seen the microsporangiate. So this is, okay, the male one. Okay, and this is the female. Okay, so female strobili or the megasporangiate. Okay, so this one will be seen, okay, in the same way, and here I'm just showing, okay, a Megasporophyll. Okay, and you can see here, so these are the Megasporangia. So this is the Megasporophyll, and okay, so these are Megasporangia or Megasporangia. Next, we'll see in case of the males, okay, the microsporangium. So inside the microsporangium, okay, so inside microsporangium, okay, the microspores will develop into male gametophyte. So they are going to develop into male gametophyte, and that male gametophyte is pollen grain. They develop into pollen grains. So these are the male gametophytes. Okay, so this pollen grain development that takes place inside the microsporangia. It takes place inside the microsporangia, and this male gametophyte is highly reduced. So this is highly reduced. Next, coming to the Megasporangia. Okay, so in case of Megasporangium, okay, so this is actually covered by envelopes. So it will be covered by envelopes. Okay, and inside that we find nucellus tissue. So these are integuments, so they are the envelope, so they form envelope. So these are protective in function. So it's the envelope that forms, okay, the integuments, and inside that we have is nucellus tissue. So it has a lot many cells. Okay, so here I'm not drawing, but actually it is composed of many cells. Okay, so all that together constitutes a nucellus, and this whole structure together, it's called the ovule, or already I have mentioned, okay, the megasporangium or ovule. Right, now one of the cell inside the nucellus, so one of the cell, okay, of the nucellus will differentiate to form, right, megaspore mother cells. Okay, so cells one of the cells of nucellus, so it differentiates to form megaspore mother cell, differentiates to form megaspore mother cell. So this megaspore mother cell will be diploid in condition, and this undergoes the process of meiosis, and it produces four megaspores. So it produces four megaspores. So here we'll see there will be, okay, four megaspores develop, and out of these four megaspores, okay, three megaspores will degenerate. So the three megaspores will degenerate. So out of okay, four megaspores, three degenerate. So three will degenerate and only one remains functional. So this is the functional megaspore, is the functional megaspore. Okay, so this functional megaspore is the one that is going to develop into the female gametophyte. Okay, so that's the functional megaspore. The functional megaspore will develop into the female gametophyte, and this female gametophyte is multicellular. The female gametophyte is multicellular. Okay, so this one now develops into the female, okay, gametophyte, and this female gametophyte will have, okay, one or more archegonia. So the female gametophyte contains one or more archegonia. Okay, so I hope the structures which I have told earlier. So archegonia will have, okay, an egg cell. So these archegonia are the female sex organs. Okay, right. So here are archegonia. Okay, right. So I'm sorry, here need to mention two or more archegonia. So there are two or more archegonia will be present inside the, okay, the female gametophyte. Okay, so the male as well as the female gametophytes will be both retained on the sporophyte itself. These gametophytes don't have independent, like we have seen in case of okay, earlier bryophytes. Here we don't have any, I mean, in case of these gymnosperms, the female and male gametophytes will be present only on the sporophyte, right? So the male and female gametophytes are retained on sporophyte, so are retained on sporophyte. So they will be present on sporophyte. They are not released and they don't have an independent existence. Okay, here one more point. In case of this ovule, so this opening is called the micropyle. The opening is micropyle. Okay, so this is the ovule, and inside, of course, it is protected by integuments. Okay, so then inside that is the female gametophyte, and the female gametophyte contains two or more archegonia, and the archegonia will have eggs. So each archegonium will have one egg cell, right? Okay, so the next one, the pollen grains are released from microsporangium. So the pollen grains will be released from microsporangium, and these pollen grains will be carried by air currents. So will be carried by the air, and finally they come and reach, okay, so this ovule, so which are present on, okay, the sporophylls, the megasporophylls, and finally they come and settle, okay, near this archegonia, and this archegonia, inside it there is an, okay, egg cell, right? So this is archegonium, and this is the egg cell. Okay, and this is present, and of course covered by the female gametophyte. So we'll see here. Okay, and here is the micropyle. So this is the micropyle opening, micropyle. Okay, so here the pollen grains will be winged. So this is how the pollen grain, okay, looks like. So winged pollen grains, they have winged pollen grains. Okay, so they come and settle. Okay, here there is a one small chamber called pollen chamber, and once they settle here, okay, they start producing. Okay, so they start producing a pollen tube. So this is the pollen tube. Okay, is the pollen tube, and this grows, and then finally, okay, it releases the gametes to this okay, egg cell. So finally it results in fertilization. Okay, so this is pollen grain. So the pollen grain produces pollen tube, okay, that will contain the male gamete, okay, and finally will be resulting in the union of the egg cell and the male gamete, and that results in fertilization. Okay, so egg cell, right, and the male gamete, okay, results in the formation of zygote. So this is haploid, haploid, and this will be diploid. Okay, and this zygote will develop into embryo, is developed into embryo. Okay, and by the time the ovule will develop into seed. Okay, so this seed will contain this embryo. Okay, and these seeds are not covered by any fruit. Okay, so that is because no ovary is present, and these seeds will be seen to outside, so that is naked seeds. Okay, so this is how the process of reproduction takes place in case of gymnosperms, right? So with this we complete about the gymnosperms. In the next session we'll see the next group, the last group of okay, plant kingdom, that will be angiosperms.